Okay, hopefully you're going to be able to see okay. The light isn't that great over here at the welding table, but I just got back from Napa. Uh, I use truck light type of lights on vehicles. I use them for the running lights on trailers. I put them on the International. I use them. There's a couple of reasons I use them. Is the major one is that they're a good light. Second reason is they used to be made within 60 miles of me. Um, but anyways, so I went to Napa. I'm just going to throw this brief clip in there. I keep talking about truck lights, and as you can see on the packaging, it says Napa. What Napa has an agreement with truck light manufacturing. You can see that the packaging from Napa and truck light are the exact same. It's just the name change that they get packaged and branded with a Napa type packaging, but it's the exact identical packaging that Trucklight puts out. Even the numbers are the same. Napa's part number is the exact same as Trucklight's. I just thought I'd mention that as if you might be confused seeing that Napa packaging. I figured out what I wanted to do on the back of the truck at the bumper, the back plate and bumper on the truck. I figured out what I wanted to do. So I got a list together, went on to Trucklight website, got a list together, and went to Napa to pick up the stuff. Well, to begin with, they didn't have the stuff, and the backup lights that I wanted, they couldn't get. They couldn't even get them. So what I had to do is this is ridiculous. They come as an assembly. Like this light is an assembly. It has the wire and the grommet and everything with it. I wanted backup lights, so I got 4 of these, which are going to be the tail, turn signals, stop lights, running lights. I got the 3 button lights that are required on the back of the truck. I did get some wire, but when it came to the backup lights, they couldn't get them, the ones that I wanted. They were unavailable. So that style was with the ring on the outside, the ring that has 3 holes, and you can mount the light into the truck using the ring that has the 3 mounting holes. You drill the holes out and put like 1/4-inch bolts through to mount it. So we went through the catalog, and he had to find out what's available. What it is this style mounting light, but they didn't have them in the kit. They were not available in the where you get the grommet, the light, and the pigtail all together. I had to buy these things separately. They were available as separate items. Why they aren't available as a kit? All you have to do is package them, all 3 items, all 3 items in the same package. Doesn't make any sense. But, anyways, probably a year and a half ago, I would have paid probably a little less than $200 for all of that stuff. I'm going to show you what the bill is, and hopefully you can read that. $499.52. This country has become ridiculous. This economy is so ridiculous. You can't get people to work. People don't want to work. You try and hire somebody, they don't show up for the job. prices are through the roof. You know, I listen to people, the government people saying, oh, inflation is only 8%, 9%. Well, you tell me where inflation is only 8 or 9%, and I'll move there. I'll move there tomorrow. You know, this country has gotten so ridiculous. It's absolutely stupid. Um, I live in New York. We've got a governor that is supporting these illegal immigrants, giving them credit cards, giving them hotel rooms to live in. Um, you know, and there's no way that she should be doing this. She's violating her oath of office. They're in here under unconstitutional means, and she's violating her oath of office. It makes you not even want to pay taxes. But regardless of the point, here's that. Underneath it is that 3/8 plate that I brought up here. I'm going to start cutting that. I do have to go to a metal supply house and pick up the rest of the stuff for it. I've also got to go someplace and find unless I want to make it myself, find a receiver for trailer hitch. So the insert that goes into the back bumper that receive the trailer hitch. But anyways, it's a start. So I just got back from doing a little running. I went to a trailer supply place. Now, the place that I went to, it's called General Welding, and it's I think it's Elma. They're in Elma. I'm not really sure of their address, but they're it is Elma. General Welding in Elma, New York, which is not far from me. But I got a receiver for the build. The other thing that I got was a couple of 7-way plugs to install. I'm going to put one in the bumper or the plate of the bumper, and then I'm going to put one up front near the fifth wheel for when I have the trailer hooked up on the fifth wheel, so that I don't have to run the cord back to the rear bumper. I can keep it up there. I might get one of those, do something to hold the cord in that position up there. Whether it be one of those posts that come up that you see on tractor trailers that kind of hold the air and electric cords up off of the deck of the truck. But so I got those 3 things at General Welding, and then I went to my metal supplier place and got a piece of 4-inch tube steel and a piece of 1/4-inch plate steel. Now, I got to tell you, so let's talk cost. I got the receiver and the 2 hitch things, or I'm sorry, the 2 plug things at the General Welding, and as you can, hopefully you can see it there, it was $61 including tax. The plate steel, actually, the plate steel wasn't that bad. This piece of 4-inch tube steel, I paid $266.76 in total. They didn't break it down on that receipt, but let me just show you. He broke it down in a text to me. The plate steel was $113, and the plate was $132, and the tube steel was $113. So Yeah, it seems kind of ridiculous considering I built on the International, and I'll take you out there after I show it to, or after I talk about this. But on the International, um, probably a year and a half ago, maybe it's been 2 years. Um, I paid in total for all of the steel on that build of the bed, that flatbed build on that trailer. Or, I'm sorry, on that truck. All of the steel combined only cost me like $2,100. Um, Again, the prices these days are so absolutely ridiculous. It is ridiculous, totally ridiculous. Not sure how well you're going to be able to see this. What I've done is laid out where the lights go. Now the lights go in between these marks. What I'm going to do is start the holes for the tail lights, which are kind of the rectangular curved end tail lights. I've got a 2.5 inch hole saw. The cut for the grommet has to be 2.5 inches wide, so that works great. What I'll do is, you can see, hopefully you can see, I've punched it to start the drill bit at those locations. What I'll do is I'll drill a 2.5 inch hole at each end, and then just take some kind of a saw, maybe a cutting torch, and cut the center out between the two circular holes. So this would be the two tail lights at the right side of the channel, or of the, let's call it the bumper. And then I've got the three, one, two, three. Those will be those little button lights in the center, and then the two tail lights on the other end. Again, it's kind of hard to see over here. I was going to use a paint marker, but the paint marker must have dried up. But anyways, there's that. I'm going to start it. I have quite a bit of experience with a drilling steel in a hole saw. In my trade in the fire protection industry, when they started going to Victaulic type fittings, they make a mechanical T where you can take a piece of pipe and drill a hole saw in it, and then they have a mechanical T that has a lip that fits down inside of the hole that you drilled, with a port coming through it that bolts onto the pipe, and you can get a fitting out of it instead of having to use a T or something like that, where you would have to go to the expense of having like a 6 by 6 by 2 inch type of a T in the piping run. You could just drill a it would have been a 2.5 inch hole for a 2 inch mechanical T outlet. You drill that in the pipe, the mechanical T saddle goes around it, gets bolted onto it, and it has a port, whether it be a Victaulic or a screwed fitting port, onto the 2 inch coming off of it. So drill it with this, but you can use a battery operated 1/2 inch drill to do it with, but with 1/4 inch material, what it does is it has a tendency of burning that cordless motor out on the drill. So I have a 1/2 inch corded drill. My grandson's got it, was using it on a job. he'll bring it back, and what I'll do is I'll just drill the pilot holes through this, and then when it comes time to doing the actual hole saw cut, I will use a corded drill on it. But anyways, I'll bring you back. I've still got to show you that the bed of the truck on the International that I built, regarding the steel prices between then and now. You'll be amazed at how much steel that I got for that truck. And as a matter of fact, I've still got some left over. These two pieces of 2-inch tube steel were left over out of that $2,100 price tag on that steel for the International. Okay, I'm out back of the shop, and this is the International 7600 that I picked this truck up in Colorado. There was no bed on it whatsoever. What it had been used for is a geological drilling rig. They drilled for oil exploration. Somehow geologists are able to determine if you drill down a depth, and I'm not even going to speculate on what that depth is. They can take the soil samples or rock samples or samples from the bore and tell whether there's oil below. But so I built this entire bed. So all of this steel, this is angle iron. This I-beams, 4-inch I-beams, that run on top of the frame rail on both sides, and then there's that tube steel, that 2-inch tube steel that I was telling you about. Now all of that tube steel is 1/4-inch wall tube steel. So all of this was bought, angle iron, tube steel, I-beams, this plate steel here was bought with it. All of this angle iron for this rack, and there was angle iron, there was a basket underneath this that I have taken off and put onto my trailer because the basket on my trailer went. Now this wasn't included, this dunnage rack was not included, but these pieces for tie downs, all that was included. That plate, the 4-inch tube steel for the bumper, all of this was included into it, and it all only cost me $2,100 for the steel. Now again, the wood was separately. Actually, if you wanted to go back into my videos, I've got videos on building this thing. This wood was bought from the Amish, and that's white oak. You're not going to believe this, but all of this white oak I bought from the Amish. He quoted me a price of $195. Now when I went to pick it up, because he had to cut it, so I had to wait a couple of weeks before him to cut it. Then I had to wait and dry it kind of to prevent it from shrinking a lot, but he quoted me $195 for all of this white oak. And now I paid him more than that. I think it was $250. I gave him $250 or $300. He didn't even want to take it. I told him to give it to somebody that needed it. Or could use it. Now, I guess I've been told that it goes to their church and they disperse it, but $2,100 for all of that metal. And I had to pay what was it, 200 and I forgot the exact figure for a piece of tube steel, and a 6 foot piece of tube steel and a 6 by 2 foot piece of 1/4 inch plate steel. So as you can see, what I did is went through and drilled the pilot holes for all of them at both ends. This is for the rectangular lights that go in here. And what I did is also did the center holes, but what I did is took it out to a 1/2 inch size. First I drilled a 1/4 inch pilot bit, then I went in with a 1/2 inch bit, and then in this one, what you have to do is drill a 3/4 inch hole. So I went in with a step drill and then finished it off with a 3/4 inch drill. Because the step drill, when you go into the 3/4 inch part, it only gets the top surface out to 3/4. The bottom surface is a step below the 3/4, so you have to kind of finish it off with a regular conventional drill bit to get it in there. I put that in there. One thing I noticed when I just dug this out is that I think Napa gave me one amber one. I'm not going to go through the box right now because it's Saturday night, the night before Easter, and I'm not going to go. Excuse me. I'm not going to go there tonight because I'm not going to get anything done. So I will dig through that box and figure it out. And if I have to take that one amber back, I actually think I have another red one of those lights, but I just kind of wanted to show you the process of how it goes. I'll bring you back. You know, I spent a lot of this video talking about the prices of things that relate to that truck and how it kind of impacts the build of it. But as you can see behind me, there's a mess, and I'm not going to discuss that issue in getting things and finding things, and but it's a big problem. I've kind of talked about the price of things. The other problem is we're losing knowledgeable people in this country to, let me rephrase that. We're losing knowledgeable people in this state of, I live in New York, we're losing it to people moving away, companies moving away, places. You can't get good help anymore. You walk into an auto parts store now and you talk to somebody that's working in that auto parts store and they don't have a clue. You walk in there, and if you don't have a VIN number and the vehicle that you're looking for a part for, they are clueless. I bring that up because I had talked about buying those lights from Napa. The guy that sold it to me from Napa is a good guy. He knows automobiles, he knows parts. If you go in there and you've got a problem, he knows if you don't need a VIN number to have him research a problem for you or try and find a part for you. And he's leaving. He's moving out of New York and leaving and going to Florida because of the problem of this state. We have a governor in this state that is allowed these illegal immigrants to come into this state and is providing them with hotels and credit cards, and she even tried to give them voter registration cards. and they're not citizens. They're not legally in this state, and we're paying for it. The taxpayers of this state are paying for it, and it's become ridiculous. And this entire economy is becoming ridiculous. Um, Something has to be done about it. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. You know, I'm building this truck, and half the stuff on this truck, I don't even know where it came from. Um, so if I try to find parts nowadays, you know, before you could sit down with a parts guy and research it and try and figure it out and come up with some shared common knowledge and try and figure out where to get parts or how to get parts and stuff like that, that's not going to happen anymore. You walk into a parts store today and you're lucky if the guy knows what he's doing, where he works, what they do for a business. And I'm serious. It's becoming a huge issue within our country, and we need to do something about it. So I know me saying this is probably going to ruffle some feathers, and people aren't going to like it. Fucking YouTube isn't going to like me saying this about this administration or knocking it, but screw them. Something needs to be done. But anyways, that's going to be my rant, and we'll get on with the truck build, and hopefully in future videos we can just talk about the build and getting this stuff done.